Welcome to Revelation Unraveled. I'm your host, William Tapley, also known as the third eagle of the apocalypse and the co-prophet of the end times. This is the second of my two-part series on the murals at the Denver International Airport. Now, these murals we discovered in part one are prophecies. The question is, are they prophecies from Satan? Are they prophecies from God? Are they warnings from the artist himself? Or are they warnings from the New World Order? Let's review the first two of these prophetic murals, which we already discussed in part one. Now, I believe this first image was a prophecy of 9/11. Here we see a stormtrooper carrying an Arabian sword, which he kills the white dove of peace. And in the process, he destroys two buildings. Let's take a closer look. Now, the amazing part of this image is this swath which the sword cuts through the sky, and which is indicated by this stream across the back. Notice that this curve on this destroyed building fits this swath, as does the curve on this destroyed building. Now, this Arabian sword, which clearly indicates the Muslim attacks of 9/11, destroys the white dove of peace. And certainly, since 9/11, the United States has been at war continuously since then. Now, according to my sources on the internet, the mural of the paratrooper with the Arabian sword has been painted over because it was too gruesome to look at for the airport travelers. However, the next mural is equally offensive, and this one has not been painted over. This one shows a guillotine. Now, this image actually shows a tent, and the guillotine blade is actually hidden in the painting. Below the guillotine blade is a butterfly, a monarch butterfly, which signifies King Louis XVI, who was beheaded during the French Revolution. And below the guillotine are these body parts, which are camouflaged as stones in the water. Now, as we know from the book of Revelation, those who refuse the mark of the beast will be beheaded. But those, like the Indian, who are willing to take the mark of the beast, will not be executed. So my theory is that the first gruesome mural was painted over, not because it offended the air travelers, but because the prophecy of the World Trade Centers being cut down by an Arabian sword has already been fulfilled. Whereas the image of the guillotine decapitating Christians during the Great Tribulation has not yet occurred. Now let's take a look at another of these huge murals at the Denver International Airport. In this photograph of this huge mural, you can see the lighting overhead. You can see the brass railing in front of the image and the marble flooring beneath this mural. Now, here you can get an idea of the size and scope of this next mural, but according to the web, this painting has also been painted over. Now, this seems strange because all the images in here are very happy children. Why would this be painted over? I think the reason is because this prophecy has also already occurred. And what is this prophecy? If we look up here, we will see a leopard overlooking this whole scene. I believe this signifies Barack Obama being elected president. That's why he has this position of authority over all these individuals. Let's take a closer look at this particular mural. Now, right in the center of this mural, we see what looks like a Mayan girl presiding over some kind of a takeoff of a Catholic Mass, because this looks like an altar. But instead of a chalice, we have a plant, a multicolored plant. Notice that this presider at this ritual has a halo around her head. But even more importantly, let's take a look at this leopard who is overlooking the entire scene. So why do I say that this leopard indicates Barack Obama? Well, first, of course, is the position of authority over all the other individuals in this mural. As we know from Bible prophecy, in the book of Daniel, chapter 7, the leopard indicates Barack Obama. But I believe the clincher are these two cubs beside the leopard. I believe these two cubs indicate the daughters of Barack Obama. Now, according to sources on the internet, the leopard obviously looks like a leopard, but the faces of the two cubs look like children. In fact, they say that they were originally photographs of children, and they still look very human-like. I believe these two cubs are in this painting to verify that this leader, this world leader who sits atop everyone else in this painting, can only refer to Barack Obama. Now, according to my sources on the internet, this happy painting of the children around the altar has also been painted over. Now, why should that be? It certainly is not offensive to the air travelers, such as the earlier murals obviously are. I believe the reason is because the prophecy of Barack Obama being elected president has already been fulfilled. But this next mural has not been fulfilled, and I believe it predicts the future of Barack Obama. Let's take a closer look at this mural. Now here, the leopard is dead. But it looks as if it is not just a dead leopard, but a sacrificed leopard. This looks like an altar. Under this altar are 3 caskets. This refers back to the book of Revelation in chapter 6. Here we see an African woman, a native Indian woman, and a Jewish girl in their caskets. Now, why shouldn't this painting be painted over? This is obviously a very disturbing image. Notice that the presider over this service is the same as the girl presiding in the previous mural. Notice the halo. Notice the wings. When is this leopard sacrificed on the altar of the New World Order? I believe when World War III breaks out. Notice this flame up to the sky. Notice how this flame surrounds this city. This city, by the way, has supposedly been painted over. Notice how these woods are also totally engulfed with flame. But what is the key to understanding this entire painting? The key can be found in this little girl in the background. She is holding a Mayan tablet. Let's take a closer look at this image. Now here, of course, we see the dead leopard, and this Mayan girl holding a Mayan tablet, which prophesies the destruction of the world, according to my sources on the internet. The hieroglyphics and images on this tablet show basically World War III. But notice the shape of this tablet. This is not an ordinary shape. What I believe this indicates is Russia. This is a map of the Soviet Union. This is a prophecy that Russia will defeat the leopard. This coincides perfectly with Daniel chapter 11, where the king of the north, that is the premier of Russia, defeats the king of the south, and that is the president of the United States, Barack Obama. In conclusion, I consider this video as a warning to President Obama. Obviously, these murals at the Denver International Airport are prophetic. How they got to be that way, I don't know. Did the artist or the New World Order, did they know something? Did Satan inspire these paintings, or did God himself? In any event, we can see that some of these prophecies have been completed, and some are about to be completed. I think it would be good for all of us, including the President, to take a closer look at what the artists are trying to tell us in the Denver International Airport murals. And if you would like a free copy of my book, Revelation Unraveled, simply write to the address you see on your screen.